difference, one cup at a time. Yeah, this is tea time. Making a difference, one cup at a time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz. Tea time, making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time, yeah. Tea time, time.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is tea time with Miss Liz. That's right, afternoon tea. And I am here joining an incredible guest today, Eddy Smits, all the way from Belgium. That's right, we're traveling to Belgium today and we're going to have some clown education. So before we get started, I'm just going to do the disclaimer and all that good stuff and then a little bit of intro of who Eddy Smits is. And then we will sit and have a good cup of tea and learn some clown education today. Disclaimer for Miss Liz's Tea Times live show. Miss Liz myself is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised the content brought forward for any Tea Time shows hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith, however, may bring forth dialogue and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All Tea Time guests and audience participants are responsible for using their good judgment in taking any action that may relate to the discussion. The content brought forward may include discussion for some where they may be emotionally at risk. It is significant to know that this show is engaging in discussion form only to offer and inspire awareness and connection and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about this disclaimer or the panelist discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in the show in any aspect, I, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you decide that the show is not made for you at this time, I respect that and see you at a later show, at a later date and time. And today we have a double show, so we are double dipping tea today. We have another tea coming at 7 p.m. with Zachary Hagman. Hagden. I hope I'm saying that right. But today, this afternoon, we have the incredible Eddy Smits joining us all the way from Belgium. So I'm going to pop him on the screen and read a little bit of his intro and his bio. And to get more on his full bio, you can check out Miss Liz's Facebook page, LinkedIn, Instagram, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to jump Eddy in and then I'll do a little bit of his bio and then we'll sit and have some clown education today. Welcome, Eddy.
Thank you.
So a little bit on Eddy. Eddy Smits is a TEDx speaker, an author, a licensed NLP practitioner, a certified management drive trainer, and has a bachelor's in pedagogy. I hope I'm saying that right. He was a professional artist for 22 years and he and his team developed and produced several educational programs, 25 theater plays for children between the ages of 3 and 12 years old, and a short movie. As a hospital clown, he visited more than 10,000 sick and palliative children. This led him to transfer into an expert in authentic communications and development an innovative approach for connecting with children. As a speaker, he inspires parents, educators, teachers, and pediatricians to connect with children authentically by using the skills and attitude of a clown. Thank you so much, Eddy, for joining me today on Tea Time. So let's just get right into it. Let's just start the clowning around and finding out what is a clown.
Oh my God. There are so many different ways to look upon a clown. For me, there's two things. One, a clown in general in this world is somebody who tells the truth. That's very important, and who does it in a way that has, in a humorous way, of course, but that makes people think. That's a very important thing about clowning, which dates from the beginning of mankind. Actually, I mean, clowning is as old as mankind is, and clowns tend to give criticism and things on society, on kings, on royalty, and so on. But they did it in a way that the audience loved it, and that the ones who were in charge, that that they let it go, that they saw through the fingers. So that's the old thing about clowning, and that it has evolved into a figure that is still making people laugh, of course, um, and this, like this giving this criticism and this sarcasm even on society has stayed, but that has turned more to like stand-up comedians, like comedians and stuff. So like they are clowns in the really in the literal um, word meaning of the word. And then the other thing is that at some point clowns evolved to making children laugh, right? Which is the well-known clown with the funny head and the face painting, the big shoes, all of that things. So and that are the two main streams that for me that clowning is. But there's so much going around about clowning, and the fact that there is so much going around and that there are so many, uh, let's say, what is a clown meaning, makes it sometimes very hard for people to understand what exactly a clown does. But for me, still, it's being somebody who really says the things like they are seen in an honest and open way without any restriction in whatsoever. That's for me. That's what a clown is.
So, what got you into this profession, Eddie? Was it
Yeah.
something you always wanted to do as a child, or something that you got into as you got older?
Yeah, I was a teacher actually. I taught children between the ages of 6 and 12, and I wasn't really happy in that job because it wasn't very creative, and there was this structure that I didn't like, and so I got out of it. And actually, I started my artist career as a puppeteer. That was the beginning. But then at some point, I got interested in this clown figure, which had so many layers, and I started to get into it, seeing the old movies, Charlie Chaplin and stuff, Buster Keaton things, and I started to read about it, and I got so I immersed myself in that clown thing that I had something. Okay, I want to do something for kids, which I was already doing in this puppetry, but as a clown, and that's how it started. I really, yeah, I was totally crazy about the idea of a clown, and that's in fact how it started. And I'm still totally crazy about what a clown is and does, and I'm still really, I'm up until today. I'm this is what I am, what I do still now. I'm not performing anymore, but still I can call myself a clown. So yeah.
So, how did your family feel about you becoming a clown?
Yeah, well, let's say I don't think that there's any parent who wants to hear the words "I want to be a clown." I want to because teaching in Belgium is a really good job. I think in most Western European countries, even America, I think it's a good job. You have a lot of holiday. It pays rather good, um, and then yeah. So my mom, when I told I really remember the day that I was sitting at the table and we were eating and dinner, and I told it, and there was like 10 seconds of complete silence. Yeah, my mother and father didn't say a word. Um, but yeah, hey, I wanted to do it, and uh, by the way, it was not only my mother and father, my parents, that were like, "What is he going to do, clowning?" It was my friends. Everybody had something like, what's gotten into him? I mean, leaving a job as a teacher and being a clown. Yeah, so that was it was yeah, nobody understood actually. Yeah.
So, it must have been hard for you as well because this was a passion of yours, and then for people not to understand, right? So,
Yeah.
for the viewers out there that are listening to the show, what advice would you have as a child who wants to be a clown? Because there are
Mm,
still children out there that might want to
yeah,
be a clown.
I really love that question, and I also want to generalize the question. And if children and whoever is listening, and you want something, you're passionate about something, and then you just should just do it, no matter what anybody says. There are only two ways: or you don't do it, right, and then you regret it probably,
Yep.
right? Or you do it, and okay, this will be hard, but at least, even if you fail, you've tried, and afterwards you can say, okay, at least I tried. Or maybe you try, and in the pursuit of trying, you have something like, that's not what I thought it was, but then at least again you did it and you tried, and you can't blame yourself afterwards. So whatever you want to do in life, that's my biggest advice: just do it, no matter what people say.
I love that you say that because so many people live with regret, right?
Yeah.
We get into an age where we're like 50, 60, and we're like, "Oh, I wish when I was 30 I
Yeah.
did that and I wish I did that." There's no age limit on being doing something different or investing in something different. If you want to
No.
be a clown at 60, be a clown at 60.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's a survey, by the way. A survey has been done. I don't know exact where or what, but doesn't matter. To people that were about to die, where they asked, okay, what's your biggest thing or regret? And it's always people regret that they haven't done certain things that they wanted to do and was their passion. That's the biggest regret people have on their dying bed. So
yeah.
I mean, that says it all.
So, Eddie, I want to ask you, what was it about the hospitals that got you really interested in becoming a clown for the hospitals?
Yeah. It was a little bit of a coincidence. I was into clowning like 4 or 5 years then, and there was an ad back then in the newspapers. That was before, it was pre-internet time. It was let's say mid 90s, um, and I looked upon it as a challenge. And that could be nice, clowning in hospitals. I had never heard of it. Of course, in the States, you guys at Badge Adams introduced it already, and there were people who were doing it here. But in Belgium, it was something very new. So I went to this thing that they called clowns out to come to for the job, right?
Oh, they have
And
workshops?
no, it was like it was an insurance company who had some money to spend, right? And they said, okay, we it was an insurance company in health insurance, so they said, okay, let's put some clowns in hospitals, because somebody from the insurance company had saw it, that people were doing it, and there were a lot of people there who wanted to do it, all clowns, and me and one colleague were chosen to do it. Which was really cool. But the downside was we really didn't know how to do it, because okay, we were clowns, but hospital clowning is a totally different animal than clowning, and so we had to learn everything as we went along, and that was a really interesting journey actually, that me and my colleague did in the late 90s then. Yeah.
So you've been clowning for over 20 years, correct?
Yeah. Even before that. Yeah, yeah. I started clowning in, let me think, 1995.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's almost as old as my children.
Yeah. That's when I started clowning. And the idea was already before that, but that was the actual moment when I said, okay, I want to do this. Yeah.
So, what's the difference between a hospital clown and a regular clown? We talked about this in the backstage before the show started about the makeup and the shoes and the
Yeah.
costumes and all that.
The biggest difference is, when you are a clown and you perform, let's say just on let's say a birthday party, right? You are the center of the attention, right? You come in and whoa, the clown is there. Now the party is going to start, right? And you do everything what's possible to entertain kids and to make them have a good time. Balloons, juggling, magic, whatever. You laugh. It's fun. And then you have the hospital clown, and there it's vice versa, because then you're not the center of the attention, but the child is. And with saying the difference, that's also the biggest issue with a lot of clowns, that they have trouble with. They are so used to performing and doing stuff for kids, which is very good, but in hospital it doesn't work that way, and they have really trouble adjusting on this concept, because now they have to listen to the child, and they have to see what's going on, and they're not used to it. They are used to doing their tricks and doing their balloons. And that's also what I found, because afterwards, when I did the work, I trained a lot of clowns. And like the organization where I worked for, at some point we stopped using clowns. We just saw just yeah how do you say that, soft people, yeah, that wanted to do the job, and we just taught them everything from scratch, because we had the idea, okay, if we teach them from scratch, it's going to take us less time than if we take clown. We have to unlearn him everything and
Yep.
start over again. And it's really that hard. It's really, yeah. I have seen really good clowns. I mean, they had the craft. They could make an audience laugh. They had everything that they needed. Fail in hospitals because they didn't. Yeah, their mind
Oh,
was
don't no connection, right?
no connection. They came in and they tried to perform for children, but you have to make a real connection first before you do anything, and they didn't do that. And so, yeah.
Well, I think that's where the education comes in, right? You really need to understand that clowning is not just putting a big red nose on and some boots and you're a clown, you know. It's
Yeah.
and this is why I wanted to have you on Tea Time, was to bring the education of clowning, because I noticed when I looked at all of your pictures and did some research on you, Eddie, you never
Mhm.
had that big red nose. You had like the hair on the
Yeah.
side, and you know, but you actually had that connection with these children because
Yeah,
you connected with them.
it's a journey. All clowns, most people start with the face painting, and with the wig, even, right? The big shoes, the colorful clothes. Everyone starts as that, which is normal. And then the journey starts. And the more you evolve in clowning, the more you learn, the more you do, the more you get it, that it's not about that. It's about what is behind the red nose, right? And some get stuck at a certain point in their journey, and there's nothing wrong with that. I repeat, there's really nothing wrong with that. All clowning is good, and all clowning has its purpose. And some of these clowns, some of us just evolve and keep evolving. And the ultimate clowning is that you do it like I am here with my sweatshirt, and like I am now. And you can clown like that, because once you um, yeah, you know that it's not the red nose and not the clothes, and not, but once you grasp that it's you who does the thing, then you can do it. Yeah.
Well, I think that's where the
Make it.
authentic comes
Yeah.
in, right?
Yeah.
If you're not authentic, how can you connect?
Yeah.
Human beings can't connect with one another if we're not
Yeah.
authentic, because we can actually feel the mask, right? We can feel
Yes.
that makeup. We can feel
Yes.
there's something hidden behind here. What
Yeah.
and that's curiosity that you want to dig into more, because you're
Yeah.
like, well, why are they masking? Why are they doing this? You know, and
Yeah.
like you said, less is more, and the connection is more important than the actual dress up.
It is again such a good observation and question. You know, it's counterintuitive, right? Because you want to be yourself, but you put on a mask. So it's counterintuitive. It's really it messes with your
It's kind
mind.
of like figure me out, right?
Yeah, it's figuring out. But the only thing that the red nose does, it gives you the same as a comedian has, who is on stage, that okay, it's comedian. He tells these things to make us laugh, and maybe it's hurtful, right? It can be all these things, but in the back of our mind, we know, okay, it's a comedian, and he makes us laugh by telling the truth. And that's the same with the red nose and all the things that a clown has. It's just to give this edge Okay, it's clown. um, but again, you could do it without anything, but it's harder then. But you can do it because you can let the people know, okay, I'm a clown. It's I'm telling you the truth, but it's in
Yeah.
a way that I can get away with it. I have this, like this back porch, and I can get away with it, but still I'm telling you the truth. So it's, yeah, it's
Well, I think it's what society has really brought to the table too, right, Eddie? Is if you put the red nose on, you're known as a clown. If you put the
yeah,
big boots on, you're known as a clown. Now, if you
yeah,
come to the stage and you just say I'm a clown, people are like, "Well, where's the outfit?" Because
yeah,
that's what society has told us, right?
yeah,
It has a lot to do with education as well, right? If you
absolutely.
don't have a teacher, you go in and you say I'm a teacher, and the students look at you and say, yeah, really, like
Mm.
what are you going
It's
to
the
teach
same.
me, right?
Yeah.
So you have to build that connection. You have to show them and say, hey, I'm here to teach. I'm
Yeah.
here for you to learn if you're willing to learn, because some people are not willing to learn. Because they're scared of learning.
Mhm,
I've learned that a lot. A lot of closed-minded people will be scared of learning new things because they're scared of being taught different
mhm,
than what their
mhm.
perceptions are.
Yeah, people are afraid to change. That's yeah, that's a known truth. Nobody likes to change. It's our brain that is saying, no, 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 that's dangerous. No, don't change. It's dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. That's still the prehistoric brain that still is there, and that thinks that it protects us, but yeah, the other hand, it doesn't. So yeah.
Well, I think that's why a lot of people, as soon as you say I want to be a clown, they're all like, "Ooh, where's he going with this? Like, what's he doing with this?" Because
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
understand it,
No,
because they haven't opened that mind to understanding.
it's true. And in the beginning, I didn't understand why people didn't understand it. So my mission now is, okay. I explain it to people. I'm educating them, and um, making them see that this clown figure, or this clowning, or whatever you want to call it, it has so much value. And if you use the principles and the attitudes, you can accomplish so many things. But it's a double-edged sword, because yeah, a lot of people also misuse the red nose, right? They
Yeah.
go on stage, they put on the red nose, and they think they can just hurt people and say anything. But that's not the thing. That's not what it's about. And yeah, maybe that's also why some people are afraid of clowns. Or I don't know. It's a very interesting concept, but it's also very sometimes very difficult to understand. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I understand, because if you're not a clown and if you're not doing the job, I can imagine it's really hard to understand for people why what we do, and why we do it. And so that's what I'm trying to teach people now, and but with a good intention of really opening my heart and saying, look, people, what we are doing as clowns is not just doing some funny stuff, and making some funny faces to make you laugh. There's much more going on than that. And yeah, well, that's my mission. Yeah.
Well, and I love your mission because it actually opens up the door of education. And I'm big on education because I find that if we do different, we're actually educating different minds, right? We're
Yes.
opening different doors. Because when we have the same door all the time telling us this is the way, this is the way, this is the way, well, then we start to get programmed and we start believing that that's the only way in life.
Hmm.
When we bring different to the table, we actually open different doors and we open different minds. And
Yeah.
then we say, oh, there's a different way of going. There's a left, there's a right, there's a middle, you
Yeah.
know. But when we get programmed, we're only like, nope, there's only a left way to
So,
go. If you take the right, you're not the right way. You're not doing right. And I think
yeah,
that that's wrong. We should be teaching differently and bringing different to the table because there are different minds out there. There are different ways of communities and countries that are learning different ways as well.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think that everyone who has the intention with a good heart to do something, and sometimes it turns out bad. Even with a good heart, you can do things that turn out bad. But we
Yep.
have to forgive them, and we have to say, okay, let's try it another way, and let's see how that goes. And as long as we do that, I think we are learning and teaching, and doing all these things, which is very valuable. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and when we first met, Eddie, I had said that you reminded me of Patch Adams because
Yeah.
Patch Adams didn't have very much. He went in with the connecting of the patients. Yes, he had that big red nose, but he actually came in and made a difference. And I think that's where I seen the resemblance of you and Patch Adams. You know, Eddie is Eddie, Patch Adams was Patch Adams, but I seen a lot of the connections and the authenticity, because if anybody has ever watched Patch Adams movie, you've seen that Robin Williams, a great comedian that played that character, had the connection with his patients,
Yeah.
with the people that came in. And I think that's where you have the same connection with your patient, with the children in that. And why are the children so important to you, Eddie, over the adults?
Um, well, I can get you again, give you a reasonable answer to that. I've always had this thing with children. Even since I was young, I was a scout leader, and then I even was a basketball coach and stuff when I was, I think, just 18. And I think I just love their honesty. For some for some reason, I am still a big child, which I consider as a compliment. It's the way that they look upon the world, with this view of curiosity, with this view of innocence, but meant innocence, with this view of, okay, bring it on, right? Uh, this view of exploring. And children are so great, and you can accomplish so much with them just by being honest, just by letting them feel you love them, just by being yourself, just by being on their level. Only that can bring them so much joy and so much, yeah, everything. And this is also why I tell people, if we invest in our children, that's an investment in the future. And there are so many companies, they are investing in everything except children. Why don't we invest more in children? Literally, money, values, everything, because it's a cliche, I know, but they are our future. And when we start to see that and feel that and act upon it, I think then mankind is evolving into something great, actually. Yeah.
I'm really really happy that you brought that up because there aren't enough people investing in children. And I agree with you. Why are we not investing in our children when they are our futures? We are the ones creating these children, and we're telling them, no, we don't believe in you. We're going to invest in this instead. We're going to invest in
Yeah.
a car or electronics, or but we'll invest in you later. We promise we'll get to you later. Like they're
Yeah.
almost on the back burner, and it's very insulting as a
Yes.
humanitarian. I'm a strong humanitarian, and I am with you on this one. Why are we not investing in the children? So
Yeah.
that's the question I have for all the viewers and listeners out there. Why are we not investing in our children? Why are you not investing in the children?
Yeah. In so many countries, yeah, I can only speak for Europe, of course. There are programs to reduce stress, and it's so stressful for employees, and stress, and burnout. That's also another word. If we educate children, if we learn them the skills when they are a child, they won't have stress, because then they will choose their passion, they will follow their heart, and there will be no stress, and they will be happy, fulfilled adults. And but now we are doing it wrong. There's no other way to say it. We're just doing it wrong. We are investing in the wrong, yeah, in the wrong age. Too
Yeah.
late. It's just too late.
Well, I honestly think that we can change it if we start waking up,
Of
if we
course.
start listening to the children, because the
Of course.
children have the answers. It's like you said, right? They're honest. Children are
Yeah.
honest. They'll
Yeah.
tell you, I don't like that bologna, and I like that, I like that
Right.
ham over the bologna,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
I don't like carrots, but I like broccoli. They're going to
Right.
be honest about it,
And what
you
we
know?
say is, no, you're gonna eat that. That's the reaction of parents. Come on. Come
Right?
on. Yeah. It's so wrong. It's so wrong. But yeah. Yeah.
So I want to get into the fear of clowns,
Yeah.
because there's an education and a stigma on clowns, that some clowns are scary. They put them in horror movies and they use them
Yeah.
as characters.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Eddie, as a
Well, for
clown?
once, yeah, for once, it's a compliment because it means that clowns mean a lot, and that there is this conception of clowns. So it's actually a compliment. But of course, along with that, it's sometimes a problem, right? But people are scared of the clowns who do it wrong. So that we have to say that also, because if you are doing the job as a clown, let's call it a job or whatever we call it, the concept, if you do it right, then people won't be afraid, right? It's the same as a comedian who does it right. People won't be angry at him because they know, okay, it's. Or if they are angry at him, it's okay because then there's discussion and society will move. Um, and that's also, it's the task of a clown. He has to be vulnerable. And okay, if criticism comes and if discussions are there, it's good because he wants to stir that up, but in a good way. So why are people afraid? I don't know. Maybe they are afraid of the truth. Maybe they don't understand it. Maybe there are different things, of course. And movies, of course, they take this its character and stuff. But again, I think it's a compliment to the character because that shows how strong the character can be.
Well, then stop masking again, right? Figuring me
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Figure me out, and I have a mask. You don't know what I am. Yeah, a mask is something that hides the real you, right? Um, and but it should be by putting on the mask, it amplifies who and what
Yeah.
I am. But of course, if you are bad, it amplifies the bad thing, of course, right? If you are good-hearted, it also amplifies that. So I think I don't know for sure, right? I really don't know, but for me, that's a big thing. It amplifies who you are, and if you have bad intentions, it amplifies that. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
Exactly right. I guess it's all the perception as well.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Everything is perception. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Um, everything is perception. The cartoon where two people are standing in opposites, and you have a figure six, right? And the one says it's six, and the other one says no, it's nine. Sorry, it's all about in life. A lot of things are about perception,
Yep.
and but it's perception is very hard to change, right? It's really hard.
So, what has clowning taught you about yourself, Eddie?
Yeah. Um, Actually, everything, and I'm not the youngest chicken anymore, and the longer I am learning about clowning and putting the challenge is really to put this clowning into real life and using these things, the more I learn about myself, and it's a journey I think that never will stop. um, yeah, but again, I'm coming back to this honesty thing. How simple it sounds, I think it's the hardest thing to do, to be honest. But on the other hand, it's also the most loving thing you can do. And I, for me, that's what it's all about: honest to people, but also honest to yourself. And that's sometimes really hard.
I like that you said that, honest to ourselves, because it is hard to be honest to ourselves, because society tells us to be different all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
The family, the patterns, the cycles, ancestry tells us this is the way we should be. We were
Yeah.
born in this country. This is the way we were raised. This
Yes.
is what we do. And then we find a love or a family member in another country and they do it differently. And we're like, and then we start questioning things. And everyone's like, don't question. This is how you were raised. This is the way you will be. And I think that's what you really do when as a clown, is you open that up and say, look, there's different.
Yes. You open everything up and you have no prejudices, you have no assumptions. You just open up and you accept what's coming.
Yeah.
And yeah, for sure, bad people will come in for sure. But if you don't open up, the good people won't come in either. So it's just up to you to say to the bad people, no, no, I don't want you anymore. You've shown that you're bad. I want the other ones. But you have to open up first to do that. And it takes some courage. And most people are afraid of that, which is normal. But once you do it, and I'm not saying I'm doing the job every time, I make mistakes also every day. But once you do it, your life will become rich, and you will have another point of view of life, and you will love people more and yourself more, and your life will be different. Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good time to ask you, what is your tea, Eddie? What kind of tea would you serve, Miss Liz?
So the tea for me is transformational, because I do believe that people can change, but you just gotta give them the chance, and um, also the opportunity, and show them how, not say them how, show them how. The E stands for emotional. I think that um, the more we show our real, authentic emotion to people, whatever that is, that we can do wrong. And even if we are very angry, but we need to show people how we are and how we feel. So the E for me is definitely um, yeah, emotional. Yeah, and the A, that's a difficult one. I've got a lot of A's. But the thing that's I think that stands out is amplify. And with amplify, I mean spread it. Take your thing that you have, and spread it in the world. Um, Spread the word, spread the deed, and to everybody who wants to hear it, and who is open to hear it, of course. So that's what the A is. Yeah.
Well, that actually sounds like a really good, strong clown to me because your transformation, right? The transformation of the clown, the emotions that you bring when you're clowning to others and yourself, because you have to also find yourself funny in order for others to laugh at you, right? You have to say, "Oh my God, I'm silly. I'm being silly," right? And amplify, like being open, just opening those wings and trying different. Like that sounds like a big, strong clown to me. Like I don't know, but your tea is sounding like a good clown.
Thank
So,
you.
and this is what it is, right? We serve our teas and we serve who we are. And this is why I ask all of my guests, what is their tea? Because I can't serve their tea.
No.
I could have never came up with that. But the emotions, let's bring into the emotions. That is the present. That is your ease.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do you connect with the emotions of children?
Um, I think the first thing you need to do is allow emotions. As a parent, if a child cries, our first instinct is, "Oh, it's not so bad. Don't." Right? That's the first reaction. Um, but I don't think it's a good one, because when they show this emotion, let them show it, and don't tell, "Oh, it's not so bad," but ask deeper, be curious. Why are you crying? What exactly is going on? And let them show their emotion, because if you do that, the next time when they have something, they will come again to you, and they won't block. They will show them emotion. The emotion. It's the same as when a boy start crying. Boys don't cry. It's that same thing. If you say that as a parent or as an adult, if you say to these little boys don't cry, then they won't show their emotion in the future. So that means when they are in a relationship, they won't show them emotions to their spouse or partner, or however you want to call it. So it starts again. It starts there. If you block emotions, um, children and human beings are going to behave in another way, which is not their way. So emotions are so important that you just accept them for what they are, whichever emotion there is. If they are angry, afraid, whatever it is, accept it and go from there.
Absolutely. It's really educational today. Today, I'm learning so much about clowning. And for the viewers and listeners out there, please let me know where you're tuning in from. I always love to hear where you're tuning in from. If you're watching the replay, please push hashtag replay. because we always like to hear that. And if you have any questions for Eddy, please reach out to Eddy. He is on all social media platforms, and you can also see his website here on the video. And in the audio, you will find all of Eddy's stuff in the information in the directory of the video as well. So, Eddy, I want to get into, you have done the TEDx
Yes.
speaking. What was your topic that you spoke on for the TEDx?
Yeah, the title was "How Can I Improve My Leadership by Acting as a Clown?" And just to get it, it's not out yet. I'm still waiting for it. I did it in June, but it will come out. And for me, and that's also a thing, and I'm a kind of frustrated also, which is normal. I've been um, explaining this to people since 2012, that when you apply these principles of the clown, even in leadership, in parenting, in whatever thing you are in life, there are universal truths. They will work in whatever you are doing. When you, whether you are somebody who takes the trash, who collects trash, whether you are a politician, whether you are a CEO, whether you are a teacher, whether you are a parent, no matter what you are, these things you can just use them in your life. And my TEDx talk is about leadership. If you use the three basic principles of hospital clowning, your leadership will improve. If you use them in parenting, your parenting will improve, and so on and so on. But it's a hard one. It's a hard one, because people this they just think a clown is somebody's sole purpose is to make people laugh. Right? That's the idea that people have of a clown. And the problem is that takes away the seriousness.
Yep.
That's the problem, but that's what the clown is dealing with, of course. He acts silly and he acts as an idiot. By the way, if you call him an idiot, he will say thank you, right? So yeah, so and then of course there's this serious side, and then people have trouble to believe it, which is normal. And that's the hard part, and that's where my challenge is, to let people see, okay, there's another side. And if you see that side and if you use that side, then this clown will become a part of you. And this clown will change not only your life, but the life the lives of the people who are around you, or the lives of your children, or whatever lives you touch. And well, that's my mission. So yeah.
So, how do you feel about leadership in any field? How do you feel about leadership in today's world?
What do you mean about what do I think about leadership, or what I think about the leadership who is what is shown now?
Well, today in the present world, our leadership for children. How do you feel about it, Eddy?
Yeah, it's a hard question to answer in a few minutes, but um, my vision about leadership is that, for one, it's not about you. It's not about the leader. It's about who is leading. That's for sure. And a great leader is somebody who reads what he sees and gives the people that he leads the tools to get better, not to make himself better, but to make people better. Um, and that's what I think a leader should do. And by making the people he leads better, he will get better. But mostly it's the other way around. These big leaders, they have these ideas and this visions, and they speech about their vision and their ideas and this dear, you know what I mean. So they are leading from above, and they are doing like almost like God on the audience, right? But I don't think that's good leadership. I think good leadership is listening what the audience is thinking and doing and saying. And of course, you need to have that vision, but that vision can be obtained by the people who are listening to you and who are following you. And another thing is, there are so many ways to get to a certain point, and if some people don't follow you and criticize you, that's really okay. That's really okay. I mean, you're leading the people who want to be led by you, and it's not your job uh, to tell people how it is. It's your job to explain your vision in a good way, in a right way, so that people will say, "Huh, yeah, that's an interesting vision. Tell me more. I will follow." That's how I see it. Yeah.
Well, the reason that I asked you that question is because I feel the same way. Leadership is backwards right now. It is
Mhm,
about the leader just highlighting themselves, and they're
mhm.
forgetting about the people. They're forgetting
Yeah,
about the ones that are under them, that we're supposed to be shining those people. We're
yeah.
supposed to be encouraging them to be leaders. That's what a real leader is. It's not about look at me, look at me. It's a look at my people, look at what they can create, what we
Mhm.
can create together.
The thing is nowadays it's social media is messing things up, right? Social media is doing very good things, but also very bad things. One of the worst things is that everybody can just say what they want, which is a good thing for what it is. Everybody should be able to say what they want. But the thing is, they just say what they want because they say what they want.
Yep.
There's no vision behind it. There's nothing behind it. They just scream to
Yep.
scream. And again, it's no problem. But people who scream just to scream get a lot of attention, and there's the problem.
Yep.
Um, because the people who are following the screamers who scream because they are screaming, they are following people who have nothing to say. And the people who have something to say sometimes don't scream loud enough, so they are not followed.
Yep.
And it's again, it's a double-edged sword. We'll figure it out, because there are also a lot of good things on social media. But that's the thing, we have to again educate our children that what somebody says on social media isn't always the truth,
Yep.
right? Check it out. It can be the truth or not the truth, doesn't matter. But do you want to follow this person? And why? So don't follow persons blindly. Have your own opinion, your own meaning, and your meaning can be totally different from somebody else. That's okay, but make sure that your meaning is something that is grounded, that has some, yeah, let's say the word, some balls to it, right? Yeah, I
Right, let's
mean,
just get it out right there,
let's
right?
get out there, right?
That's
Yeah,
what we do. We serve strong tea here, right? Just get it out there.
yeah, get it out there, right? Yeah.
So I want to get into the question of laughing. We are laughing, me and you, right now. Is it easy to make someone laugh?
Yeah, yeah, it is easy, because everybody likes to laugh. That's the thing. You can ask there like 8 billion people in the world or something. You can ask everyone, and everybody will tell you, "Yeah, I like to laugh." There's nobody who doesn't like to laugh, so that makes it easy. The hard part is everybody laughs with something else. There's so many
That is
different
true
things.
too.
Yeah, there's so many different things you can laugh, and that's what you gotta figure out as a clown. What's his thing there? What does he laugh? What's is he sarcastic? Maybe he likes nonverbal things. Maybe he likes a little bit on the edge humor. Maybe he wants to. Yeah, I don't know. So, and that's, as a clown, that's what you wanna figure out. And that's what you gotta feel. And that's, I always say, humor is like a scalpel, right? You can save somebody's life, but you can also kill somebody with a scalpel.
Right?
Yeah, it's really
Depends on how
easy.
you slice.
It depends how you use it. If you are if you are a thief and you have a scalpel, or you're a murderer, right? Then a scalpel is easy to kill somebody. But if you're a surgeon, you save lives with it. And that's what you got to figure out. And the only thing to figure out that is you have to want to fail. You have to want to fail, and tell the truth. Go out there, and then see what happens, and just see what happens. Yeah, that's yeah, the second
I think
principle of
that's a really
clowning.
strong statement, Eddie. You want to fail.
Yeah, you have to
I
win.
think so many people are so fixated on the wins
Mhm.
I won, I won, I won. But they don't see the lesson in the failing,
Mm.
and we need to start celebrating our failing. And, we're not going to win everything, but if we don't try, we won't know, right?
Yeah.
So
That's
we need
that's
to
what the
fail.
clown does. The clown gets his laughs by failing. When the clown stumbles, then people ha ha ha. But actually, if you look at upon it, they laugh because the clown failed, because he fails, right? So the more he fails, the more the people laugh, and the more and that's his goal, right? He wants to make people laugh, and that's the beauty of it. So it has to have this attitude. Okay, I want to fail. Where can I fail? Where can I fail?
Where can
And I
I
want to
fall?
fail.
Where can I trip?
Yeah, where can I trip? Where's this wire? And he's going to search the wires, and then he doesn't feel the wires, so he fails there, and the audience laughs again because he doesn't find the wires. See, and that's so he goes from one to the other failure, and that's how he gets the success. And that's also what I mean. You can take this clowning and put it in real life. So if you go from failure to failure, then actually you have success. Inevitable. It's inevitable to have success if you fail and fail and fail and fail and fail. It's inevitable at some point you will hit success.
Well, I think that's a really powerful message as well, because we look so much at win, 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 win.
Mhm.
And then when we fail, we just put ourselves down, right? Instead
Yeah,
of lifting ourselves up and saying, you know what? Oh, I slipped. Whoops. It was an
yeah,
oopie. Let's just
right.
continue. Where do
Yeah,
I go? I'm going left this time. Oh, no,
yeah,
I'm going right this.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know
And
which way I'm
learn
going.
and learn, right? If you slip, you can say, "Oh, these are the wrong shoes for this environment. I need to buy some other shoes." You learn, and yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah.
See, there's so much to learn from clowning. And this is why I wanted to have you as a guest today, Eddy, is because we need to start digging deeper. We need to start looking at things differently, our perspectives, where we're investing our money. We need to start investing in the children. We need to start listening to the honesty of the children. There's a reason why our children are the generation of the future and the next generation of the future. But we're never ever paying attention to the children, and we need to change that. We need to start educating our children and saying, you know what, your ideal is really incredible, and this adult over here has an incredible ideal. But let's go with the kid for a change. Let's see where this
Mhm.
kid's going to take us,
Yeah.
because there are so many incredible children out there that are doing incredible things that some adults don't even have the courage to do. It's like you said, they don't have that oomph in them to push it. You know.
Yeah, it fades away and I am guilty too. I think every adult is guilty that the child fades away, and but we need to grasp, we hold on to that child, and that's our way to happiness, that's our way to success, that's our way to everything, is holding on to that child, and stay this open, stay this curious, stay open to failure. Why does a child learn to walk that easy? Because there's no child, if it falls 10 times, a child won't say, "No, I'm not doing it in 11th time, I'm not going to walk ever." There's no child who says that. They do it at the 11th time, even the 1000th time. They just keep on trying and trying down, no matter how often they fall. And as adults, we don't do that anymore. As adults, we stop at the 10th time. We say, "Oh, I've tried it 10 times, forget it,
Yep, I'm done.
I'm
I'm
done,
not doing that again.
not doing that again." Did that, bought a t-shirt. But no, yeah, you got the t-shirt, wear the t-shirt and wear it with proud. Wear it proud. I failed a million times. That you should be proud of that, because the
Yep.
million and one time, maybe you'll get it. You don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that really strong messages here. And for all the viewers and listeners that are tuning in and watching the replay later, if you really want to know more about clowning, you can check out Eddy on all social media platforms. And Eddy, I really want to thank you for bringing this to the table and actually educating the viewers out there and the listeners out there a little bit on clowns, on how we need to start looking at clowns a little different as well. Break that stigma. So any final words that you have and any tools and tips that you'd love to give before we wrap up your tea time?
yeah. Well, first of all, I need to thank you, and I really mean that from the bottom of my heart, because through people like you, I can spread the word. So I really thank you for the opportunity. And if people want to learn something about clowning, then is the first principle of clowning is it's not about you. And if you take that in account, and if you go through life only with that sentence, oh no, it's not about me, then I think you're well on your way to be happy and fulfilled.
Well, I think that's a strong message, Eddie, because you don't care about the judgment, right? Because it's not about you.
Oh, but you,
So if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. It's like I always say, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. I don't want to be everyone's cup of tea.
no, no,
You
of
know,
course not. There are people who love coffee more, and that's good. I mean, great, right?
right? So I want to really thank you, Eddie, for joining me. And I want to thank each and every one of the listeners and viewers that tune in every Thursday for these incredible educational platform shows that I'm bringing to the table. These platform studio lives are to bring education, to inspire, to bring awareness. If you have any questions or any topics that you would like to see on Tea Time with Miss Liz, please let me know. And please reach out to my guests. They are there for you to reach out to, talk to, communicate with, network with. You just never know what doors we can open when we start sharing everyone and everyone's different journey in life, because it isn't about us, it is about everyone else. We are here to grow the root of the tea. So I really want to thank you, Eddie, for sharing your tea, because your tea was really transformational, full of
Thank you.
emotions, and it amplified. It's all over. It will be all over. So I really want to thank you. And I want to have everybody tune back in with Miss Liz tonight at 7 p.m. when I have a second guest. That's right, I'm doing double dipping tea today. And I have Zachary Hagens, I hope I'm saying his last name right, from the United States coming in, and he will be talking about creative writing, because we need to open the minds. And he is also an author and all of that good stuff. But again, Eddie, I want to thank you for bringing clowning to the table. And I want
My
to
pleasure.
thank each and every one of the viewers who do turn into Miss Liz. This is season 3, so get ready. Season 4 is just going to get a little longer and a little stronger, because that's what we do is we dip our tea and we dip it out and we share good stories. So Eddie, any final words before we wrap up? We have about 3 minutes left. So any tips or tools that you have for any of the kids that are listening out there?
Kids, oh, for kids.
For the kids, we're giving for the kids.
All right. However crazy your idea is, and adults say, don't do it. Of course, don't do dangerous stuff, right? That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean, kids. But your idea to becoming someone, even if it's an astronaut, or maybe you want to be a pink elephant, I don't know, right? Go for it. Do it. Become the pink elephant, no matter what everybody says. Just follow your passion, do what you think you need to do. And if others say it's not okay, talk to them and educate your parents or your adults. Don't don't be cross with them. Educate them. That's what I want to say to kids.
Oh, I love you, Eddie. I wish I could just jump through the screen and give you a big old clown
Oh,
hug.
thank you.
But I really want to thank you for bringing some laughter to my life and bringing a new friendship and connection to me as well. And I want to ask you before we wrap up, because we do have a less than a minute here. What is one thing about Belgium that we can share with the viewers and listeners today?
I'm a Belgium. You mean if you want to come to Belgium? uh,
Absolutely.
Oh, you just come. We have the best chocolate, the best beer in the world, and it's no cliche. It's really true. So you're welcome.
Okay, thank you so much, Eddie. Oh, and I did want to bring up, we forgot to get into Eddie's one word. His one word is righteous, and his favorite color is black. So if you want to know more about Eddie, you can check that out. He is wearing black. Miss Liz is wearing black. That's the way we roll. We roll with color here, and we spill strong tea. So thank you all for tuning in. I will see everybody at 7 p.m. with my second tea time. And again, Eddie, thank you so much for joining me today on Tea Time.
My
And we
pleasure.
will make a difference one cup of tea at a time and share the TEA of the world.